How do the old folks say it? Hard head make a soft behind. And the Warriors, what Steve Kerr in the front office, with this arrogant way of thinking that they can just keep winning with no bigs. In a league now that's dominated by bigs. When they made their last championship run, they were fortunate to not face any real bigs except for Jokic in the final. Jokic on the way to the NBA Finals and a win in the NBA Finals. Robert Williams was injured and he wasn't really 100%. Jokic, he was playing without Jamal Murray, so it was really just Jokic and a bunch of role players, and he's really dependent on Murray to take over in the times he can't take over. And Jaren Jackson Jr., he's kind of a tweener. He's not really a center. He's not really a power forward. He's a in-between. Then you had Dallas in that conference finals matchup. They didn't really have a big. They were playing small. So the last championship run worked out in their favor. Last season, however, in the 2023 season, they had trouble with Domantas Sabonis. Got a little bit of a break when Fox got injured, because for the last couple of years, even in the 2019 they had Durant, so he's a big body, not a big body, but he's some length that you can have down the paint when they play their depth lineup. But now you playing Looney and Draymond, two dudes that's 6'7" and 6'9", you playing them at center for the majority of the game. And most of these teams now have dominant bigs, or bigs that can take advantage of Draymond, because he's no longer the defensive threat in the post that he used to be. He's handsy and he's still an intelligent defensive player, but he's nowhere near what he used to be in their prime championship runs when they had KD. And Looney, he's a backup big. He's not a he's a good rebounder, but he's not a good defender. He's good on the boards, but not as a paint threat when it comes to defense. And that was the issue they ran into against the Lakers. You had LeBron, who goes 6'9", 6'10", about 250 plus, and AD, who's about 6'10", 6'11", 250 plus. They had nobody to defend AD. Luckily, half of his games he was off. Luckily, LeBron only played in the post for half of the games in the 6 games they did play, because he can't play a full game in the paint. It takes too much of a toll on his body now. But on to my point. For the last couple of years, they've been flirting with picking up Dwight Howard as a backup center, for somebody who can man the paint and have someone who can scare off these drives that they had for the last season or so, where people just beeline, and it's a straight up turnstile to the rim. When you got Looney and a bunch of guards, or you take Looney off the floor and you just got a bunch of 6'6" dudes playing defense. So they work out Dwight Howard and ultimately don't sign him. So now you don't have a big. But they signed what's the dude's name? Usman Garuba, something like that. The dude that used to play on the Houston Rockets, and I think he got cut. They picked him up. And he's like 6'8", but he has like a freakishly large wingspan at 7'3". Pick him up, but you don't pick up Dwight Howard. Granted, Dwight Howard is older now, but he's still a big body, and he's known for rebounding and having that defensive presence down there in the paint. And if they don't sign a big, I don't see this working out, because this team is ultra small. And I hope for their sake they don't pick up another forward or a guard thinking that that's going to work, because the league is caught up to them with this whole small ball lineup. Everybody's doing it now, And then the guys, or the teams that don't do it, they have a big that could take advantage of Looney and take advantage of Draymond in the playoffs. I mean, it'll work fine in the regular season. You can find your way through the regular season into the playoffs. But when you get to the playoffs, everybody has a big that could take advantage of them. So I think ultimately it was just a bad move to not pick up Dwight Howard. The dude even said last season before they let James Wiseman go, he wanted to come in and play for the Warriors and try to show James Wiseman the ropes, because that dude had no feel for the game at the big position. He's playing like a KD, like he wants to be a 7-2 version of KD. And they had him down in the post, and he's not a post player at all. He likes to face up, shoot threes, shoot mid-ranges, and Euro step to the rim. He's not really a back-to-the-basket type of player or a lob threat, because he has bad hands for a dude his size. So, I don't know what they're going to do.